Have you ever been out there in the garden, maybe just looking after a few pots, and you get that feeling you want more? Like really thriving plants, loads of veggies, beautiful
Oh,
flowers.
absolutely, that vision of abundance.
Exactly. But then, bam, you're just swamped with all this advice, right? And half of it seems to contradict the other half.
It's information overload, for sure. Every product claims to be the magic bullet.
Yeah, and you just want that shortcut, you know? Especially now with the seasons changing, you want to know what actually works without getting a PhD in soil science first.
It's a really common feeling. People want results, but the path feels, well, complicated.
Really?
Knowing where to start, which advice to trust.
It's tough.
Totally. And that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive today. We
Okay.
took your sources, all that info on Mario's Super Soil, plus your notes about fall gardening issues, and we've done the sifting for you.
Cutting through the noise, basically. Right. Our mission is to pull out the key bits of knowledge, make it clear, make it actionable. So today we're looking at how to get a healthier, more sustainable garden, focusing especially on getting ready for autumn and using organic soil amendments.
And we're zooming in on this Canadian company, Mario's Super Soil,
Mm.
because the sources suggest they really focus on making organic growing simpler.
Yeah, how their whole approach can help with those tricky tasks, like
Yeah.
dealing with weeds that just won't quit or getting raised beds ready for winter.
Exactly. We'll explore how building a strong foundation, literally, from the soil up, can make such a huge difference, turning gardening from maybe a bit of a chore into something, well, genuinely rewarding.
Okay, so let's dig into that foundation first. The philosophy behind Mario's Super Soil. Their big tagline is organic growing made easy.
Hmm.
And the sources we looked at suggest this isn't just talk. It seems to be about a real commitment to pure organic, premium dry amendments, Canadian made too. But what does organic made easy really mean day to day for a gardener?
That's the key question, isn't it? And when you look at why they push organic dry amendments, it's clear. We're talking 100% natural products,
Yeah.
no synthetic chemicals at all.
Right.
And that's not just about a label. It's about promoting sustainable gardens, working with the ecosystem in your soil, not against it. It's about long-term health, not just quick fixes that might actually harm the soil down the line.
And besides the environmental side, which is obviously huge, there's a practical angle too, right? And economic.
Hmm.
The sources talk about these dry amendments being potentially more efficient than liquid fertilizers.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. Many people grab liquid feed thinking it's faster.
Right, seems intuitive. But why would dry amendments be more efficient? How does that save money and actually, feed the plant better from root to bloom?
Well, it's about how the nutrients get delivered. Instead of that quick hit from a liquid, which can sometimes just wash away,
Okay.
these dry amendments feed the soil life. The microbes, the fungi, all that beneficial stuff underground.
The microbiome.
Exactly. They break down the organic matter slowly, making nutrients available to the plants over a much longer time. It's a steady supply.
So less nutrient runoff, less waste.
Precisely. You end up buying less, applying it less often, and the plants absorb more of what you give them. That leads to the cost savings and just more robust, healthy plants overall.
That connection to the soil biology, that sounds like a big deal. And it seems like it's not just for, super hardcore organic gardeners either.
No, not at all. The sources show it's used by home gardeners, even people with just balconies, right up to commercial farmers.
So veggies, flowers, fruit, even cannabis.
Mhm.
The idea is the same. Healthy soil equals healthy plants.
That's the core message. And for you, the listener, wanting straightforward knowledge without getting lost in the weeds, pardon the pun,
Huh.
a key thing is how this approach aims to take the guesswork out of prepping your soil. The sources keep calling the blends expertly curated.
Which is huge. I mean, who hasn't stood in a garden center just staring at bags of stuff, wondering what on earth you actually need?
Right. This simplifies that whole complex step, lets you focus on the growing part, feeling confident about the foundation you've built.
Okay, so that's the why. Let's get into the what, the actual toolkit they offer. Moving from the philosophy to the products themselves, it seems like a really comprehensive range.
It really is. They have core products designed for general use and also for very specific needs. Like for general growth, something most plants need, they highlight Level Up 333.
Right, the NPK numbers, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, 333 sounds balanced.
Exactly. It's a good all-around feed for pretty much anything in its vegetative stage when it's focusing on leafy growth.
And then for things like getting amazing flowers or more fruit, the sources mention Flower Power 264, that higher middle number, the 6. That's phosphorus, right?
Spot on. Phosphorus is key for root development, but also really crucial for flowering and setting fruit. So yeah, when your plants shift gears from growing leaves to making blooms, that's the one you'd reach for.
Makes sense. But it goes way beyond just those two blends, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The range gets quite specific. Take Kelp Meal 104. The sources say it's not just about the NPK, it's packed with micronutrients, things like boron, zinc, manganese stuff plants need in tiny amounts, but are vital.
And hormones, too. I read something about plant hormones.
Yes, beneficial ones like auxins and cytokinins. Auxins help with root growth, cytokinins encourage cell division, and shoots. So kelp meal is like this natural booster, helping with overall vitality and making plants tougher against stress.
Wow, okay. And another one that stood out was the endomycorrhizal inoculant. That sounds important. It's not really a fertilizer, is it?
No, not in the traditional sense. It's about building a partnership in the soil.
So what exactly does it do? Why is it so vital for getting nutrients and water to the plant?
Okay, think of it like adding a massive underground network for your plant's roots. These are beneficial fungi.
Like mushrooms.
Yeah, but microscopic mostly. They form a symbiotic relationship with the roots. They extend the root system's reach huge, like hundreds or thousands of times further out into the soil.
No way.
Yeah, so the plant can grab water and nutrients, especially things like phosphorus, that don't move easily in soil, from way more soil volume than it could ever reach on its own. It's a natural partnership that boosts efficiency and helps plants handle drought and stress much better. It's really foundational stuff.
That's incredible. It really is a whole toolkit then. The sources mention loads of other specific amendments too for really fine-tuning things.
Definitely. Like if you know you need nitrogen, maybe your leaves are yellowing, they have specific high nitrogen options like feather meal 1100 or blood meal 1200.
What's the difference there? Both high nitrogen?
Release rate, mainly. The sources suggest feather meal breaks down slower, giving a steady feed. Blood meal's quicker, more of an immediate boost if needed.
Okay, got it. And for phosphorus, you mentioned bone meal 4100.
Right. Great for new plantings, root development, getting ready for fruiting. And then for potassium, important for overall health, disease resistance, water use, there's KMag 00022.
So understanding these NPKs lets you really target what your plants need at different times.
Exactly. It moves beyond just general feeding to more precise nutrition.
And it doesn't stop there. There were soil conditioners mentioned, like dolomite lime and gypsum.
Yeah, those are about adjusting the soil environment itself. Dolomite lime raises pH if your soil's too acidic and adds calcium and magnesium. Gypsum is amazing for breaking up heavy clay soil, improving drainage and aeration without really changing the pH much.
Okay. And what about trace minerals? Things like basalt rock dust, glacial rock dust, azomite. Are those important?
Very. They're like slow-release multivitamins for your soil. They replenish a whole spectrum of trace elements that might get depleted over time. Glacial rock dust, for example, is known for its wide range of minerals and helping boost microbial life. It's about ensuring everything the plant might need is there, even in tiny amounts.
And then there's boosting the actual organic matter and soil life itself. Things like compost blend, fish compost, and everyone's favorite worm castings.
Absolutely critical. That's feeding the soil microbes, improving structure, water retention, all that good stuff.
The sources even mention some more advanced sounding things, biochar charged and humic acid granular. What do those bring to the party?
Right. Those are taking soil conditioning up a notch. Biochar, especially charged biochar, is amazing. The char itself is like a porous sponge that holds water and nutrients and provides a habitat for microbes. Charged means it's already loaded with nutrients or microbes, so it starts working right away. It's a long-term soil improvement.
Okay. And humic acid?
Humic acid acts like a chelator. It basically grabs onto nutrients in the soil and makes them easier for plants to absorb. It also stimulates microbial activity and improves soil structure. They're tools for really optimizing your soil's potential.
So with this huge range,
Yeah.
what if you have really specific needs? Or maybe you're gardening on a larger scale. Does it allow for that?
Yeah, that's a good question. The sources explicitly state, we do custom size bags any size you need. Please contact us to make a custom order. So that flexibility is built in. Whether you need a tiny custom mix for pots or a bulk order for a small farm, they seem to accommodate it, which fits that whole sustainable, less waste idea too.
Right. Okay, this is where it gets really practical. Connecting all this soil knowledge back to those fall gardening challenges you mentioned you were interested in, like tackling stubborn weeds before they scatter their seeds everywhere or getting raised beds properly prepped for winter. How does this soil-first philosophy actually help with those specific tasks?
Well, instead of just reacting to problems, you're building resilience from the ground up. Take weeds. Enriching your soil in the fall with things like compost or worm castings doesn't just feed your desired plants.
It helps crowd out the weeds.
Exactly. It promotes dense, healthy growth and good soil structure, leaving less room and opportunity for weeds. Plus, healthy soil is perfect for planting fall cover crops like clover or rye.
Ah, right. Cover crops.
Yeah, they smother weeds brilliantly and improve the soil over winter. Using something like the balanced Level Up 333 in the fall could help those cover crops get established quickly to outcompete any lingering weeds.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, what about prepping raised beds? They can lose nutrients and get compacted over winter, can't they?
They definitely can. So the sources suggest focusing on replenishing minerals and improving structure before winter hits. This is where things like glacial rock dust or azomite come in. Adding them in fall gives them time to integrate and slowly release those trace minerals.
So the soil's not depleted by spring.
Right. And if your beds tend to get waterlogged, adding gypsum in the fall can improve that drainage, preventing problems over a wet winter. Then maybe top it off with fish compost or worm castings to feed the soil life through the cold and retain some moisture.
It's a proactive approach then. And look, we don't just have to rely on the explanations. The sources you provided had some really great testimonials from actual gardeners.
Yeah, those were quite telling.
Like Lynn from Brantford, Ontario. She said it made growing so easy. I just top dress with the dry amendments once a month and feed water only. I mean, imagine that. Just once a month.
That speaks volumes about simplicity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Less fuss, less complex feeding schedules.
Totally. Then there was Joe from Calgary, Alberta. He talked about products that perform like no other and prices that can't be beat. But he also mentioned amazing customer service and knowledgeable staff, calling it a one-stop shop.
Right, so it's the whole package: product, price, and support. That builds trust.
And Katie from Mississauga, Ontario was just glowing. My plants and the rest of my garden has never looked so good. I will be using only Mario's soil from now on. Hands down, the best soil amendments in Canada.
Wow. Yeah, hearing those real-world results really drives home the potential impact of focusing on soil health with these kinds of organic amendments. It shows it works for actual people in their gardens.
Definitely. And if you do want to learn more, dig deeper yourself.
The sources mentioned they offer resources too. A free grow guide and info explaining things like what is NPK.
Which are great starting points, right? If you want to understand the why behind the recommendations, not just follow instructions.
Exactly. Moving from just using the products to really understanding the principles of plant nutrition and organic growing.
And practically speaking, if you're nearby and want to get some, the sources say pickup is by appointment in Mississauga, Ontario at Mavis and Bristol.
Yep. Available for inquiries Monday to Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And they take email money transfers too, which is handy.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway for you, the listener, thinking about your garden, especially as we head into fall?
Well, this deep dive really shows how Mario's Super Soil offers this comprehensive but also accessible organic approach.
Right. It seems to demystify soil prep with those curated blends, but also gives you this huge toolkit of specific amendments for fine-tuning or tackling things like those fall tasks we talked about.
And the goal seems to be making sustainable gardening genuinely achievable, maybe even easy. The testimonials certainly suggest that healthier plants, better yields, less confusion.
It feels like it's about empowering you to build that thriving garden by starting with the foundation, the soil itself.
So here's the final thought as you get your own garden ready for winter.
Yeah.
Think about this. What's one small, consistent step you could take now? Focusing on that hidden world under the surface. That might pay off hugely next season. Maybe in vibrant growth, maybe just in making things surprisingly easier.
Yeah. Perhaps it's less about constantly battling nature and more about, collaborating with it. Starting right there, in the soil.